Hi there everyone, my name's Chris, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of a series I started a little while ago, looking at my collection of 3 of these. These are the TM Recoil series AR-15s, M4s. All 3 I have, they're the SOCOM versions, which means they're front wired, but other than that they're exactly the same as the SOPMOD that everyone's familiar with. You've got your bolt lock to the rear, or simulated bolt lock upon last round firing. You've got simulated recoil, simulated blowback with a fake bolt plate there. I prefer the SOCOM version because the SOPMOD itself, the battery system with the battery stored there in the stock, it was a good idea, wasn't terribly well executed by Tokyo Marui. You stick with the standard wiring system up front, a lot more reliable, a lot more consistent in terms of powering the motor and your gearbox. Now, as I say, this is the second in the series. You can check out the first one I did if you just click on the little annotation here. But this is the second one I built now. I built this a good few years ago now, and this is when I was still using old school nickel metal hydride batteries, and that meant that if you wanted to put a battery up front in the handguard here, you couldn't really use a rail system, hence why I've gone with the Mo plastic handguard. Although in hindsight it actually turned out to be quite a good choice. But we'll start back here at the stock and we'll work forward, going through the parts. Now, this is a Ditec multicam hydro dipped crane SOPMOD type stock. It's fairly solid. Basically I started out with a Magpul PTS CTR stock on here, but that particular one unfortunately had an issue that some Magpul products suffer with, whereby when the polymers sort of blended at the factory, the coloration dye doesn't quite mix in and it didn't look perfect, so I switched it to another gun which was getting painted so I could cover that up. The Ditec stock does alright. I think it looks okay on the build overall. It's a little bit wobbly, but you know, there aren't a lot of companies out there that offer these hydro dip parts. Standard buffer tube, standard in terms of the gearbox and all the recoil system, all standard parts. It's the way to leave it, I think. We've got the Magpul PTS ASAP here. This is the GVVR version. Hopefully you can see that there. It takes a little bit of modification to fit. You have to Dremel the insides of it. I might do a video tutorial on that one, but for me this is the best sling mounting solution that you can come up with, because it means that when you're up in the shoulder firing, when you come to a corner and you need to switch shoulders, you can do so, and your sling will simply pass under here and it's not going to interfere with anything. Magpul PTS Myad grip, just with the thicker back strap, very nice and comfortable. Got the upgraded metal base plate on the base of it there. That just is something you're going to need to put in if you want to run these PTS grips, because if they don't, the motor doesn't engage with the gears correctly and your gun just doesn't fire. PTS M-bus at the rear, just for show, to be honest. Although I have used it before, because I have had these guns, when it comes to these cheap optics, the recoil can kill them. So sometimes you have to switch to your backup irons. Unfortunately, with this little EOTech here, for example, you can get a nice co-witness straight through. Vinyl 1-inch cutout sticker there on the lower receiver, just because why the fuck not. Everything plain on the receiver on this here, but I did have a bad lever fitted. Unfortunately they need modification. You have to alter the shape of them slightly, bend them, because of the shape of these guns, it's not quite the same as the real thing. When the magazine's empty and that engages, the lever would tend to hit on the lower receiver and it would carry on firing through even when you had an empty magazine, which is obviously not what you want with one of these guns. Like I say, just for the sake of the video, just got basic EOTech replica on here. I always run these PTS 120 round P-mags for the SOPMOD series in these. Magpul always put it further up just as an extra little grip aid. You don't want to be holding your magazine back down here. It makes insertions really tricky compared to getting a full either index or beer can grip far quicker and easier, more consistent. Front end is the area that I did the most work on overall. At the time I bought this SOCOM, the CQBR hadn't come out, and there was only one type of outer barrel available for this series of weapon that was any different to your standard 14.5 inch. This is a 10.5 inch made by First Factory. It's incredibly high quality outer barrel. Quite expensive, it's about $90, but Diatak hadn't released their line at the time, and I wanted a shorter version. I already had a 14.5-inch gun, so I wanted a CQB gun. Put a Magpul type bore in there, of the appropriate length of course. Upgraded the delta ring spring, which is the main thing that's responsible for keeping your handguards as solid as they can be on a plastic handguard setup. Replaced it with an old classic army one, because the TM ones tended to be quite weak and the handguard would be wobbly as hell. This is the Magpul Industries, i.e. real steel handguard. At the time PTS hadn't come out with their olive drab furniture, and I wanted a gun with the OD set, so I picked up the real one. Same thing with the Mo vertical grip down here, which makes it really nice, comfortable if you use like a thumb brake type grip along that sort of lines. Really comfortable interface with your hand. On this side, Magpul PTS light mount, fits this Surefire scout light very nicely. Just means that when you've got your grip position, and then all you do is bring your thumb back and then off again. Easy as that. Fake gas tube down the centre there, just because it looked Gucci. At the front, got the gas block / front sight. This is the Voltor version, well, a King Arms version of the Voltor original. It's got QD sling swivels by this side. Flip up front sight, a rail on top if you did want to put something on there. Although it'd be pretty silly to put another backup iron sight on top of a place where you've already got a backup iron sight, to be honest. But very nice. I use these on so many guns because you've got that iron sight bit on there. You've got the QD sling swivels if you want to put a 2-point sling up in that configuration. And because of it just attaches via hex bolts. Really simple to install. No cross pins that you have to punch in. Flash eliminator is just a King Arms copy of the CQB sort of breaker hider. I think it's a Voltor originally, this part. Actually, I was playing at an Onis Airsoft morning after event a while ago, and I actually ran up to a building and smashed the front end of my gun into it, and this took all the breaker force, and actually it just broke some of the concrete off the old building, and there's barely a scratch on it, so it's a pretty tough little part there. And that is that for this weapon, guys. This overall, I'd say this is my favourite gun when it comes to actually skirmishing. Of all the airsoft weapons I own, this is the best rifle that I have. Plastic handguard up the front keeps it lightweight. You know, it's the short barrel, compact, extremely pointable, just really quick to move from target to target, and just, you know, when you combine that lightweight with the small size, in pretty much any game you can't really beat this sort of setup. So yeah, it does work extremely well. So thank you for watching, everyone. Do appreciate it. Thank you for all the thumbs up, all those subs, etc. I'll see you next time.